Again, my video editor is not here, so this is a little rough. First of all, I just want to say thank you to those of you who've given me feedback. To Holly, I want to give a shout out to her, to Grace. People who have just told me that they enjoy these videos. I know we're just getting started. This is video number 4. And the series right now we're working on would be just the different counseling approaches that are out there. And again, I want to remind people that most counselors pull from a variety of these different theories. So I'm mainly taking them apart so that you can see what a counselor might be doing at any given time. So today we're talking about the behavioral approach to counseling, and this is not to be confused with cognitive behavior therapy. So what behavioral approach is, it just means it believes that people learn behaviors. And if they're doing bad behaviors, it just means they had faulty learning. So this approach is really used to treat anxieties, phobias, eating disorders, sexual issues. So let me just tell you some of the ways that it might play out. If you think about your dog. I know for me, negative punishment is not going to work very effectively. We know that for children and for dogs, what really works is positive reinforcement or removing a negative stimulus. So you can think in terms of like if a child is acting up, you can think of removing their playtime and putting them in timeout, or you can think of an older child taking away their cell phone. So you're removing the positive stimulus. It has to be something that's meaningful to the child. So that works much better than punishment per se. You know, we've all probably grown up thinking spanking is the perfect way to help our kids grow up to be the way we want them to be, but really that's not a very effective way, in my opinion. So, and this is based on a lot of research. So let's see, what else do I want to tell you? One thing about this method is in a lot of the different models, having the client have some sort of aha or some sort of insight is what's really important. But with this model, nope, it's just, you know, they're doing a faulty behavior, so you're going to try and get them not to do the faulty behavior. I'm going to give you some popular methods. One might be flooding or exposure. So for a phobia, really the best treatment is just to expose the person to the feared item. And you probably don't want to do that all at once. So if it's like a fear of dogs, you probably want to start talking about dogs and showing the client pictures of dogs. And then you might go to a pet store and slowly warm the person up to dogs and help them see that the very worst thing doesn't happen. Let's see. So I'm going to give you some more examples here. Positive reinforcement would be just like when you have your dog and you're teaching it a trick and you feed it a little snack. It's going to learn a lot better than if you beat the dog. Hopefully you don't beat the dog, but the dog isn't really going to learn from punishment. So those are just a few examples of positive, negative reinforcement. And so here's an example of how it would play out. So for a parent who wants her child to put the dirty clothes into the hamper, the parent would reward the child with points, but then they would also remove a negative behavior, which would be they would stop nagging. So that combination would be really helpful for helping a child change his behavior. Now I'm going to give you 2 examples. You guys can see I'm still in my yoga clothes from this morning. But I was thinking about that. I was going to run up and change and get ready to do this video, but I was thinking that going to yoga actually is a very behavioral approach for me, because when I go to yoga, which is not necessarily something I want to do all the time, sometimes I don't feel like exercising, but I know that all my friends are there, and I know we're going to laugh. I know that when I'm done, I'm going to feel really good. So right there, that's my built-in reward. Now, there's a pretty cool story I heard about. The author's name is Dan Ariely, I think, and it's A-R-I-E-L-Y. He wrote a book called, what was it called? Predictably Unpredictable. And I remember reading a story that he shared, and he was having to take some very intense medications. The medications were so toxic to his body that immediately upon taking them, he would start vomiting and vomiting. And everyone that was in this treatment protocol, he was the only one that was able to finish up his dose of medication. And he was actually cured of this very horrific disease. But he said that the key for him, and he was a psychologist, he was actually working at MIT, but he realized that the negative effects of this medication were going to be so profound that he had to counteract it with something positive. So each day he would set up his hammock, and I think he was outside in his little patio, and he would have his TV out there and a big bucket to throw up in. But what he would do is give himself the injections, hit the TV, and he would just have a stack of his favorite movies. And then he would jump in his hammock, start vomiting, but watch his movies. And because he was able to pair the negative thing with the very positive thing, he was able to have a successful round of treatment. So there, I hope you have it, and I hope it's helpful. And again, we'll be talking more about different models soon. Thanks.